have it finished. The water is pouring in as we speak. And maybe we'll show that what it looks like, because I'm sure the fake news will be thrilled. Take a look. This is from just a little while ago. Nice clean water. So we're here to talk about clean, beautiful coal. That's clean, beautiful water. That's the longest pool anywhere in the world. And here you can tell they're not progressive, because this is not a progressive, because progressives never wear or show an American flag. These are proud people from Oklahoma. They came from Oklahoma, a company from Oklahoma, to do it. But you notice the American flag, he's proudly showing off his work. You know he's not a liberal and or a progressive. Used to be liberal, but they changed their name somewhere along the way because liberal wasn't working, but progressive doesn't work too. Although progressive is a beautiful term. They are not progressive. They're degressive. You got that? What do you think? Daniel's great. He's a great reporter. And again, we have a picture of a gentleman in a cart, proudly.
Guys, welcome to Rep America. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you guys. We got Donald Trump live again, and I have a different setup here. You're looking at my top-down camera. You're looking at my coffee and everything over here that I'm doing. So, but we got Trump is live right now. This is literally happening live, and as you know, with Trump, he is so entertaining. We never know what we're going to get with him. So let's continue the show. Let's go.
The broken marble is fixed. Well, there's a way of fixing it. You use a thing called silicone and you fix them, and they look beautiful. All of the hate and everything is removed from them. Some have done through stupidity, actually, but hate. But here's another picture. Now you can tell this is a proud American because he's got a flag. Protesters never have, the bad protesters never have flags up. They somehow don't like the flag too much, but we do.
So he's showing the people that are working on the reflecting pool in front of the White House, and he's showing the people that are working on it are waving, are showing their American flags. So they are definitely on the right side of life, bro. Let's go.
Save America Act right here. We have, everybody can see that. And then we'll talk about clean, beautiful coal. You're not allowed to say coal within the Trump administration unless it's preceded by the words clean, beautiful. Complicates our life, but it's good, right, Chris, wherever you may be? It is clean. Gotcha.
I love that. You can't say the word coal unless you say clean, beautiful coal. Let's go, baby. Clean, beautiful coal. Here it is.
Photo ID. So you go to vote and you show photo ID. Not complicated, right? You know, who could oppose it? They say it's an 80-20. It's not. It's about 99-1, and we'll never find the one person. Andy, congratulations, Andy, on a big victory.
Thank you for your help.
That's great. I appreciate it, but you're very good at what you do, and I've been backing you right from the beginning for a long time, right?
Backing you too, sir.
For years, that's right. You have. Thank you. Congratulations. You won a big election. So you have all voters must show photo ID, identification. All voters must show a little thing called proof of citizenship. Would you say that's 99-1, Mr. Pennsylvania?
I would say that's maybe 100 to 0.
I would think so. They say
at least it should be.
No, but they say it's 80-20. It's not 80-20. It's 99. And we've never found the one person. There's another one. Then you have no mail-in ballots, but we want to be liberal, as they say. Or we'll say we want to be progressive. So it's no mail-in ballots. You see that's what's happening in California. They're rigging the election. Now, maybe we caught them, and maybe they won't be able to get away with it. They tried with me. They did it successfully the second time. The third time, we made it too big to rig. Too many votes. They couldn't do it. They can only go. They sort of gave up at about 9:07 when they got slaughtered with the votes that came in. But no.
Guys, he's absolutely right. I'm from California. I'm in Southern California. I'm in Orange County, and we voted, but only a third of the votes are counted so far. We're in day 2, I believe, and it's just incredible, guys. California has been rigging our elections forever. Hopefully, we can get this settled and get a Republican in office in the governor's seat. hopefully Steve Hilton gets elected and he can turn this California state around for us. It is an absolute disaster. Back to Trump live right now.
No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. So we're being very progressive. And we just don't want cheating in our elections. And you see it happening in California. Those numbers are coming down rapidly. They found a lot of mail-in ballots last night, shockingly. So we don't want that. Then we added best of. This is best of Trump. No men in women's sports. No transgender mutilization surgery for our children. I would say that's pretty close to 99-1 also. No men in women's sports. I would say that's pretty good. We had the quarterback, Jackson is the quarterback for the Giants. He's a big, strong guy. And I said, how do you think you do in women's sports, Jackson? He said, pretty good, sir. He didn't know I was joking. he was not worried, so let me put it that way. He would have been the greatest athlete in the history of women's sports. You got to see the size of this guy. Like a male model, and he's going to be a great quarterback. So we talk about that. And so we just would like the Senate, Democrats, Republicans to pass it. Interestingly, Democrat people, not crooked politicians, because most of them are crooked, or they're sick, or they're Trump deranged. There is Trump derangement syndrome. But the people, it's 86, 87%. Democrats. I mean, Democrats are fun. I have a lot of Democrat friends, but I don't know, for some reason, when they go into politics, they get radical left crazy, and they're trying to destroy our country, but we're not going to let that happen. So today we're taking historic action to bring down the price of energy and the cost of living for all Americans with the power of clean, beautiful coal. If you look at China, if you look at so many of the successful countries, they're using coal. If you look at some of
China
countries, they're using wind. Just keeps blowing, and puts you right out of business. Very expensive, most expensive energy there is. So wind is not working very well, but they keep it going, and because people get subsidies by countries that are stupid. Doug, I would say we haven't been long on wind. Do you agree with that? He understands numbers very well. You know, Doug was very, very successful. Believe it or not, I used to think it was in energy, but he was successful in technology, and he sold his company to, I think, Microsoft, right? And for a lot of money, and he ran for politics. He ran for office, went to North Dakota, won immediately, won governor, who was very successful for 8 years. And I watched him during one of the performances of some.
He just brought up Microsoft, guys. Today, Microsoft, NVIDIA just announced that they partnered with Microsoft. They're creating a new laptop that will have AI agents on your desktops, on your laptops. It's going to be insane. That's another big announcement. That's going to change things in a major way.
Very talented people. And I said, we're going to get him to work for us. And then I said I was going to put him in charge of energy. And he said, sir, there's a better man than me for that one. Not in all ways you feel that, but in one way. In energy, you do. And that was Chris, right?
Yeah.
Where's Chris?
Right here.
Right behind you.
Well, he's a hard one to find. And Chris has done a fantastic job, and he's one of the reasons we're here today. We have had, we're right now double Saudi Arabia and Russia. If you double them up, that's what we produce, more than anybody else times 2.
Wow.
So think of that.
Wow,
As a
wow.
result of the $700 million investment that I'm announcing today, we will protect 14 coal plants and 42 coal mines. It's a tremendous number. And build 2 new coal plants and 1 massive new export terminal, because we're exporting coal. Coal's a great business, really a big business, and it's real power. It's in terms of power, there's really nothing like it. You have so many different alternatives. They talk about some, but there's no real alternative. China, by the way, last year built 52 coal plants. They built about two windmills. You know, the only time they build a windmill is when they're trying to sell them to stupid people from the United States that the suckers. And
Literally.
by the way, and all over Europe.
Literally.
They sell the windmills, but they don't use them. I wonder why. They use coal plants and other things. These actions will support over 40.
He's totally right. Europe has destroyed itself. It's self-inflicted. Europe has completely, London in a major way, destroyed itself trying to go green. And it's just what a nightmare. What an absolute disaster. These idiots, completely lost, thinking they're changing the world by trying to go, low emissions or whatever the case is, and crushing their citizens with the price of energy. They can't even keep up with it. It's absolute disaster.
14,000 jobs and save the American people $50 billion in electricity costs. We're pleased to be joined by Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum. He has been great. I don't want to give him a big swollen ego because then all of a sudden he'll leave me and I'll be stuck with Interior. I don't want to be stuck. But he's really done a great job. Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright, who's fantastic. And maybe our MVP. What do you think, Doug? It's close.
Yes, right here.
What this person just said in the chat is right. Nelly Cordova just said the Queen is rolling in her grave, as are the forefathers of the greatest country in the world, America, the United States of America. Our forefathers, if they were to look at what the hell is going on, they will be pulling their hair out, ripping their own hair out. To look at, imagine the battles they fought. Imagine. You had Democrats created the KKK. They fought to keep slavery. You had Abraham Lincoln, the Republican president that came in and abolished slavery. And we fought ourselves to do that. Only for what? For the Democrats to come and call Republicans racist. And what a disaster. These guys are they would lose their shit to see what we're doing with everything, women and men and women's sports and all this kind of crap. Dude, they would lose their shit.
What do you think? MVP? Lee Zeldin. And the job he's done is great. We had the auto industry in.
Did you guys see Pride Month? Did you see Pride Month is kicking off in New York? They're literally doing a whole entire Pride show inside, I don't know, the City Hall or something like that. Something absolutely crazy. I don't know what they're doing. If you guys saw that, it's disgusting.
Yesterday, they don't want people to fix their car. I said, that's strange. I'd never heard of that. They have a thing nobody's allowed to fix their car. They gave a man 7 years in jail, actually, because he fixed his own car. So I thought we'd do something about that. But we'll get it all straightened away. Can you believe it? They want a bill that prohibits people from fixing. So if you're mechanically inclined, I went to school with some guys that were, in some cases, horrible students. But they could fix an engine blindfolded. They could take a car apart blindfolded. But they weren't too good at arithmetic and other things, but they were great. And so there's a move on to stop people from fixing their car. I didn't understand it, but we had a great meeting yesterday with the head of General Motors and Roger Penske.
By the way, Min, I don't have it on subscriber only mode yet. I'm probably going to turn it on pretty soon. This chat's already pretty wild.
Governor?
They're allergic to the truth, as always. The left is allergic to reality, to the truth.
Those people. In Wyoming.
They're allergic to facts.
Slightly more than West Virginia. Right?
Just a little more.
We did pretty this. I like this group of people. But Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon, respected guy, great governor, both of them really amazing. And Representatives Dan Muser, Riley Moore, Derek Van Orden, Juan Ciscomani, and Andy Barr. So you have a lot of representatives here that are fantastic. Today we're officially invoking the Defense Production Act to save 13 coal plants in West Virginia, Kentucky, North Carolina, Indiana, Tennessee, Arizona, Arkansas, Oklahoma, North Dakota, and Wisconsin. These were incredible plants, so productive, really producing a lot of the electricity, right? The electricity, it's really the best at that. When they find something better, Chris, I think we'll be all set for it, right? But they're a long ways from finding something better.
Coal's critical.
And so when you look at that, those states, West Virginia, Kentucky, North Carolina, Indiana, Tennessee, Arizona, Arkansas, Oklahoma, North Dakota, Wisconsin, what do they all have in common? Trump won them.
Wisconsin, but you're
I won every one of them by a lot, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even
Pennsylvania,
mentioning
too.
Pennsylvania, which we won also, right?
Yes.
But we won them all. We won, probably we won all 50. We had an honest count, if you want to know the truth. Our action will allow these facilities to invest in upgrades that will extend their operational lives for decades into the future, reinforce the reliability of our electric grid, which is really the biggest beneficiary, and most importantly, keep electricity prices very low for the American people. This brings the total number of coal plants that we've saved during my administration, just like when we said we saved 25 water fountains. Think of this. These are fountains, beautiful fountains that were so horrible to look at with the graffiti. Over 40 years, many of them closed over 40 to 50 years. The big one, the reflective lake, reflective, some people call it a pond, some people it's like a lake. But the reflective lake was built in 1922. It never really worked from the beginning, from 1922. That's a long ways. So it's over 100 years old. And it never really worked because they had the wrong base. It was always leaking. They didn't have what we have today. So it's pretty amazing what's happened. And, you know, I hate to say it won't leak, but it won't leak because we use the material that doesn't allow leaks. You know, it's like a swimming pool doesn't leak. You use the right. This is called swimming pool on steroids. So it's great stuff. And today's actions, we're also supporting coal mines and coal miners in Wyoming and Pennsylvania, Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, North Dakota, and New Mexico. And they're all going back to work. You know, it's interesting with the mines, that famous scene.
I think I got to hit the button on some of these guys in the chat. They're going nuts. I haven't put it on subscriber only chat yet. It's interesting to see how absolutely lost people are calling the president all kinds of things that are not true because they are Trump haters and they are beta males.
You are a Trump hater and you are a beta male.
I got to hit it on them, dude.
Hands were so large he couldn't hold a computer.
And they're a bunch of liars.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Bunch of liars, dude. Losers, liars. They have nothing else to say, so they have to lie. They can't even come up with anything that's based on reality. They're allergic to truth, so they have to call the president names and things that he actually is not. And when actually it's their side that are the things they are saying he is. All the people that were the, you know, in the Epstein saga, they're Democrat leaders, all of them. And they have nothing they can say about the president except lie about him. And it's just incredible. It's interesting to see. That's why I'm leaving it off right now. Soon I may have to turn it on to subscriber only.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
All you guys in there. Yep. The Democrats are the protectors. And this is called projection. And this is what on our channel, this is what we call confession through projection. You guys are saying all the things that are the leaders of your own Democrat Party. That's the reality. And you can't take it.
Clean, beautiful coal per year will be shipped to countries all around the world. And this project's been delayed over 10 years. And Biden ended it. And then Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? Barack Hussein Obama, another one. He's
Barack Hussein Obama, another one of their disasters. Exactly.
another
Yep.
beauty.
Yep.
But that delay is now over, and it's going to be very productive. It's going to fuel our electric plants in particular. It's going to be amazing. Finally, we're taking nearly $200 million in that to set aside for the Green New Scam, and it was set aside for the Green New Scam, but the Green New Scam is history. and repurposing that money so that we restart a coal plant in Maryland and help build 2 brand new coal plants in Alaska and West Virginia. And these are all built with new technology. It's very clean. It's amazing how that's come along. It's all very clean. And the first new coal plants to open in our country since 2013 couldn't open. You couldn't even think. They were only closing them. They were closing them, and yet brownouts all over the place. But you don't have that anymore. Do you notice? Under 4 years of Sleepy Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats in Congress, not a single permit was approved for a new coal mining project. But in over 1 year of our administration, we've already approved 76 permits for clean, beautiful coal. Last year, we prevented 17 gigawatts of coal-powered electricity from going offline, and that's enough power for about 13 million homes. Think of that, 13 million homes at a very low price. It's the lowest price. So now I'd like to ask Secretary Burgum to say a few words, followed by Secretary Wright, Administrator Lee Zeldin, and then Governor Mark Gordon, and whoever else wants to say a few words, including my new friend, my new governor friend. So, Doug, go ahead.
Well, thank you, President Trump. With these announcements today and everything that your administration has accomplished so far since you've taken office, this administration has done more to save, protect, and expand coal in our country than any administration perhaps ever.
Clean, beautiful coal.
Clean, beautiful coal, absolutely, and none.
I'm only kidding.
It's okay. When you took office, the first thing you did was declare an energy emergency. Some people questioned that, but the prior administration under Biden had gone so far down the path of pursuing the highly subsidized, intermittent, weather-dependent sources of electricity that our grid was at risk. You understood that, and you understood how key coal is. It's the backbone of having affordable, reliable, and secure American energy to power our country, power our electric grid, power our competitiveness in AI, and power all the manufacturing that's coming back. As you mentioned, with those record coal leases, this is where we take federal public land, lease it to the private sector. They write a check, that comes into the Treasury. They create jobs, help support local communities. So there was 0 coal leases held in 4 years under the Biden administration. You heard the president talk about 76 here. We've slashed red tape. Those took years to get. Some of these projects for coal mining we've approved in less than 1 month under the emergency procedures. And we also have opened up for leasing another 13.1 million acres that people can bid on in our country on public land. And this is land that was set aside. This is not national parks. It's not wilderness area. It's not our wildlife refuges. This is public land that was set aside for the benefit and use of the American people, including energy development, making sure that we've got affordable, reliable energy. So using those public lands is what we're doing. And then the last thing within Interior, I would say we did strategically designate through the U.S. Geologic Survey, which is part of Interior, designate metallurgical coal as a critical mineral. So it's on the list, and that opens up a number of opportunities. But without metallurgical coal, we don't have coke, we don't have the steel industry. The Biden administration was indiscriminate trying to shut down our metallurgical coal as well as our thermal coal. So, and then the last thing you mentioned, the coal export facility, again, working through all the permitting to drive towards that so that we can be selling clean.
So just to continue to explain to you guys what I mean when I say on this channel what we call people that lie like they're doing in the chat, they're calling, listen to this, check this out, they're calling Donald Trump sleepy. They're saying he's getting old, he's sleepy. We call that confession through projection. It's their president that they voted for again, Joe Biden, who was Sleepy Joe. And they are calling this president the one that works harder than any of these people in the chat. He'll do circles around anyone in this chat, but they call him sleepy. You know why? Because that's called confession through projection. They're confessing, and they're confessing who they are by projecting their own Democrat leaders, their Sleepy Joe, onto Trump, calling him sleepy. They are the lazy bums on their couches that do nothing and expect the government to give them money, and they want the government to give them more free shit. And they call this president sleepy. This president does circles around any of the people in this chat, any of these clowns.
Reliable energy to our allies in the Pacific, who
That's the beauty of it. You got a president. I aspire to work as hard as Donald Trump when I become his age. And I don't think I'll be able to do it. I really don't think I will. At that age, we're lucky to be alive if we're that age. And then they had Joe Biden. Imagine they voted for Joe Biden again after they watched that absolutely that nightmare of a debate that he had. And they wanted him in there again because they want to destroy America. They're happy to see it burn. It's insane. They're the ones, again, guys, remember, they're the ones burning their own American flag. And yet they'll never move out. They'll never leave America. They want to burn the flag though, and they want to burn the whole place down. They want to destroy everything that America stands for. But they'll never live anywhere else but America. And by the way, they're killing themselves to come in here. All of them. All of them.
who want to do more trade with us. And lastly, again, thank you for creating the National Energy Dominance Council. Our executive director, Jared Hagan, is here today, but Chris, Lee, and I all have details on that team, and that's operates right out of the White House, and that's why President Trump is able to get so much done so quickly. This is the first time ever we had a president with a White House council specifically focused on energy and what an impact it's having.
Well, and thank you to perhaps slightly less importantly, but I think very important, the National Garden of American Heroes is going to be unbelievable. And I'd like to know how you're doing on that, and how are you doing on the great...
Those of you watching on the different platforms, if you want to jump into YouTube, I kept YouTube open. I haven't put it on subscriber only mode, and you can just see how crazy they went. You will. I'm not posting those on the screen because 9 out of 10 of the things they're posting in the live chat on YouTube is I can't put it on the screen. But if you want some entertainment, jump into the YouTube live chat and please, by all means, entertain yourself, because it is it's pure entertainment. It really is.
Triumphal arc. So every city, just about every major city, has a triumphal arc. This is an arc that's a real bow, a beautiful bow to your military and military victories. No,
you guys you saying that I am AI or I have an AI face. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. Looking good today, huh? Dude, look at that shave though. Look at the lineup, dude. Damn, it's good.
nobody's had more military victories, including recently, than we have. And they never got the arc built. It's been, the Civil War stopped it. That circle has been sitting there for a long time, for many, many years. And, I guess you could go back to, in 1902 they tried it, but in 1860 and 1880 they just never got it done. The Civil War stopped it.
Guys, real quick, I got a really important video to put up here. Hang on one second here. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Here we go. Here's my Instagram. And let's see here. Here it is.
Do you have any medical advice for the Americans out there that are suffering from a very serious ailment called Trump derangement syndrome?
I am concerned about folks who have focused their entire life energy on dislike of the president. It's disheartening to see people lost in that way, but you know, treating stupid is really hard.
Do you have any medical advice for the Americans out there that are suffering from a very serious ailment called Trump derangement syndrome?
I am concerned about folks who have focused their entire life energy on dislike of the president. It's disheartening to see people lost in that way, but you know, treating stupid is really hard.
Treating stupid is really hard. Wow, bro. Wow. Let's go. Let's keep going.
First time, that was a good reason.
Guys, again, this is Trump live right now. As we sit here, this is Trump. He's literally live right now in the Oval Office.
I think that's probably not that was a good excuse, but after that, it just never happened, and we're going to get it done. And so we're doing it with the Department of Interior, And we're also doing the National Garden of American Heroes, which is phenomenal. And we're doing something that just came up. We'll have a little breaking news here because nobody's heard of it. But at the Lincoln Memorial, the front was supposed to be the back was supposed to be the front. It never got built because they built 2 roadways behind it after it was built, and it shut off the gateway to the water. That was really going to be the main entry, and we're going to be doing that. It's called the Promenade. It'll be the Promenade. They want to call it the Trump Promenade, but I don't know if I want to do that. But it's going to be beautiful. It's a beautiful project, and it's going to take the Lincoln Memorial right down to the Potomac, which it was always scheduled to do. But when they built the roads, that was the end of that. But we have a way of beautifully going over those 2 roads, highways, very, very strong, very important roads, actually, as you know, from the bridge. But it's going to be great. So can I ask for just a couple of seconds to talk about those 3 great projects that we're just starting?
Well, I'd say that it's important for everyone to know that, as you described, these are plans and ideas that have existed almost since the end of the Civil War. But the McMillan Plan, which is the one that designed the National Mall as we see it today, that was in the early part of the 1900s, envisioned this connection that you would have the memorial bridge between the Lincoln Memorial and Arlington Cemetery. At the halfway point, there's a very large circle. It was designed to hold a monument. The arc that would go there is a fantastic complement and completion of this plan that's over 120 years ago, President Trump's vision of how to build that. And of course, President Trump has talked to President Macron from France. More people visit the Arc de Triomphe than even visit the Eiffel Tower. I mean, this would be a highlight for Americans to come. The views back at the city from the top of the arch would be amazing. The views from this side, from West Potomac, where the National Garden of Heroes was, looking across at the arch would be amazing. And of course, the promenade on the backside of the Lincoln is, as President Trump described, right now there's no pedestrian access. You're on the mall, people come from around the world. They don't know that 100 yards away is the beautiful Potomac River, which was part of the original plan. And now they'd be able to walk around the Lincoln Memorial, walk on a pedestrian bridge over the first highway, walk over the next one, and right down to the water. It would complete the vision. These projects would complete the original vision, the McMillan Plan. And how fortunate are we to have the builder-in-chief, someone who both has the vision and the understanding of how to get projects done.
Oh, damn. Someone just sent a picture that I got in Italy last week, or a couple weeks ago it was. Check that out. Damn, looking good, buddy. Looking good, buddy. Who's that? Who this? Oh, man. You know they're going to hate. You know they're going to hate. I like this picture. Black and white. It's pretty sweet.
That would, again, make our city safe and beautiful, just like the executive order President Trump put out last year has accomplished. And wow, we are ready for the celebration of our 250th anniversary. The city's never been safer. It's never been more beautiful, but President Trump's not stopping there. Vision that he has for these projects would extend for generations forward. So thank you, President Trump.
Thank you very much. Great job. And Secretary Chris Wright, please.
Yeah. No coal, no modern world. Stated another way, without clean, beautiful coal, the modern world is impossible. And we saw 17 years ago President Obama's election an all-out attack on the American coal industry, the industry that built our nation. We wouldn't have the buildings, the factories, the industry, the electricity grid we have today without the critical contribution of coal. It's been the largest source of global electricity for 125 years in a row, and will be for decades to come. In the United States, it remains a critical source of our electricity, also a critical source for our industry. Can't produce steel and cement and other materials without coal. And beyond the impacts of coal in our electricity sector, just think of the direct impact on human lives. If President Trump had not been elected and inaugurated in January of 2025, and through his authority at the DOE, we were able to force keeping open 6 coal plants. As of today, there'll be a 7th one, and more than twice as many that voluntarily said, hey, if we're not going to have to close, we need to stay open. 17 coal plants were not closed in 2025 because of President Trump sitting at this desk and in this position right here. That's
Dude, Jason, thanks for joining. Well, yeah, thanks for joining the club. And then also thanks for picking up one of these hats. I got your order yesterday, bro. You got this one right here, the navy blue with the red, Rep America. Thanks for supporting the channel, bro. This is the FAFO red flag. F around and find out. Red flag with the Rep America, the navy blue. Thank you, dude. Appreciate it. Your hat's going out today, bro.
saved 17 gigawatts of electric generating capacity, and the winter storm Fern that hit our country in the last week of January this year, conservatively, hundreds of Americans would have lost their lives if those 17 coal plants had closed. We pushed the East Coast electricity grid in the United States absolutely to the limit. A storm Uri hit 5 years ago in Texas, smaller in geographic extent, not the same magnitude. Over 300 people died. But because we had those coal plants operating and running, and not only did they run, wind power disappeared when the storm hit. Solar's irrelevant in the winter, so things we talk about didn't even matter to our electricity grid except for cost burdens. Coal stepped up and produced 25% more electricity during this storm than its normal, reliable chugging out of electricity. Without those plants, without that increase in electricity production, we lost a lot of Americans, untold.
We still got people talking about Trump sleepy. They forget that for 4 years we never saw Joe Biden, whereas with this president, he's live almost every single day, and in some cases, multiple times a day. And these losers want to call him sleepy. You guys understand the projection? They had the sleepy Joe Biden, who was nowhere near being alert or awake in any way, actually couldn't even form sentences. And then you have Trump live every day, and they call him sleepy. You see how they're completely backwards? They don't even see themselves how backwards they are because they're so lost. They're so jacked up in the head. They can't figure out that they're actually completely ass backwards. 100% ass backwards. They're so backwards. Imagine, you have to reiterate this for them so they can somehow understand what you're even saying, because they mentally even block the words that come into their ears. They are calling this president, sleepy when he's live every day, sometimes multiple times a day, and their president that they were voting for again was literally could not make it on TV. Forget about live. He couldn't even do a pre-recorded, televised anything. And when he did, it exposed everything. Everyone saw the lies. It's insane. And they all lied to us and to themselves. That's why you see them go crazy. Look at them. Completely ass backwards. Absolutely backwards. Look at them.
Job, an economy, a community, a family. And for too long, you saw Democrats who were telling these coal miners that they should just learn to code. And what we saw during the Biden administration at the EPA, for example, was regulation after regulation after regulation trying to strangulate out of existence coal, to destroy it. Enter President Trump, declares a national
Should I put on the video so I can remind them?
council, and he told us at the EPA at Trump's speed,
They'll just run away. They can't face reality. They're allergic to facts, guys. Should I put the video to remind everyone?
who want to have affordable access to energy. The Democrats were running for power to sit at this desk and to leverage that power to destroy these communities. Enter President Trump. He has saved clean, beautiful coal, and it's been an honor to be part of it.
Thank you. Great job, too. Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon. Thank you.
Mr. President, it's an honor to be here. Thank you to the secretaries who have breathed life into an economy in Wyoming that has been there for a long time.
$1
Wyoming
billion.
produces the cleanest,
$1
most
billion, I
beautiful
should say.
coal.
And
low
making sure that
sulfur
we're able
coal.
to.
You don't mind if I push them?
And it's fun because we have a chance to
Video's
educate our
coming.
kids. Now, let me just talk a little bit about the other side of this. When a kid grows up in Wyoming, their education is paid for in large part by coal severance taxes, by the royalties that come from mining that coal that was shut down by the Democrats.
Video's incoming, guys. Video is incoming. The video is incoming, guys. Put your seatbelts on. You're gonna see these. You're gonna see these guys lose it right now. Let me just find this other clip because there's two clips back to back that we got to put on in these moments. And here we go. You guys ready for this? Are we ready? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Ready? Here's the first one.
Make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death. And
We beat Medicare? What the hell are you talking about, bro? We beat Medicare? What does... Dude, this is your guy? And you want to call Trump sleepy? And imagine, they voted for him. They wanted him because they want to destroy America. Again, they burn American flags, yet they'll never go anywhere else. They want to enjoy everything we build, making America great again. And it's the best country in the world, yet they want to burn it down. And they want to burn everything that we're about. And then they want to gaslight. Watch this. This is the follow-up video. Here's the gaslight video. You ready? This is them. Remember this debate. Then watch this. Then watch this. Then they want to lie to everyone themselves. Most importantly, they're lying to themselves. This is them lying to their own voters. Listen.
Right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And I don't really, you know what? I don't really care. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth.
He says, I'm going to tell you the truth and F you if you can't handle the truth. Listen to this. This is them gaslighting their own voters, bro. Listen to this.
I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it. And you read the New Yorker interview.
You see that? This was in the height of the election. They still wanted you to go vote for this guy after he was completely gone. Listen.
Dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if look, if
what the
we finally beat
what the are you out of your cotton picking mind?
We gotta drop Jesse Lee Peterson on him, bro.
What the? That's amazing.
These guys, bro. These guys. Look at what they did, and they want to call this guy sleepy.
Zelensky wrote a letter to President Putin. He wants the two of them to meet.
They want to call President Trump sleepy, the guy that's on your TV live every day. They want to call him sleepy. Look at the clowns in the chat, bro. Straight clown show, bro. It's a donkey pony show on the left. That's all it is. It's all it's been. That's why I was on the left very recently, but it's been a complete donkey pony show on the left. And that's why Trump swept when he got elected. And that's why you're seeing California changed, because the whole left, it's a disaster. They're doing everything wrong, yet they still vote for their own leaders. Look at this. Look at this. You want to see exactly what I'm talking about? Remember, chat is liberal, right? Remember that. You guys know that. Watch this. Why would a Democrat vote for Karen Bass?
They see her as a continuation of what they want. They believe she'll push policies on housing, social programs, and law enforcement reforms that align with their values. Whether you think those policies are effective or not.
Has she done well in any of those areas?
By the numbers, homelessness in LA has gone up during her time. Crime hasn't been magically fixed either. She's gotten funding for housing programs and some policies passed, but the results so far are mixed. If you want blunt, she hasn't turned the ship around yet.
Wow. Look at this. So if you were in Los Angeles, I don't think you would vote for her either.
Based on outcomes alone, I wouldn't be impressed. But I'm not here to vote. I'm here to tell you the straight truth. If you want better leadership, push for someone with measurable results, not just promises.
Even chat, which is liberal, left-leaning, will tell you Karen Bass, in the entire time she was in office, made LA worse. Yet look at how many people continue to vote for her to put her back in office. This is the left. It makes no sense. They make nothing better. Even the things that they campaign for, they make worse. That was chat explaining to you what she campaigned for and the reasons why they vote for their leaders, yet their leaders make those very things that they campaign for worse. It's incredible. That's why I tell you, it's a donkey pony show. There's nothing happening. They're just a bunch of people kicking and screaming, flailing their arms like little 2-year-old children for nothing. And when you give them what they want and you put their leaders in office, they make things worse. And they continue. And then when it comes to election time, or when they have other leaders, they go, this person is this, he is that, and you're a protector, you're that, and they, but they continue to vote for their own idiots. It's insane. You can't do it. You cannot make it up. If you wrote about this, you can. There's a book called 1984. It gets close, but you can't. This is insanity. They're voting their own leaders, their own Joe Biden could not complete a sentence, yet they call Trump the sleepy president. This guy that's on your screen. Almost 365 days a year, almost twice a day. It's wild. They call him sleepy. And meanwhile, they want to put the absolute worst people with the worst track records in office. You know, there's a reason why they don't have a single candidate that could improve. Forget about what we need for America or what we feel we need for America. Let's just say for the things that they want or they think are important for America, they can't even find candidates to improve those things that they want themselves. It's insane. It's insanity. Like, it's absolute insanity. They literally can't even do that.
To hash out the end of the war in Ukraine because...
Is that crazy? Is that nuts? Like, what is going on? Again, this is chat telling you exactly how it is. And I'm asking chat, why would a Democrat, I'm saying, why would Democrats vote for a Democrat? And it tells you, and then I say, are they actually improving? And he says, no. And they keep voting for it. Look at this again. Why would a Democrat vote for Karen Bass?
They see her as a continuation of what they want. They believe she'll push policies on housing, social programs, and law enforcement reforms that align with their values. Whether you think those policies are effective or not.
Has she done well in any of those areas?
By the numbers, homelessness in LA has gone up during her time. Crime hasn't been magically fixed either. She's gotten funding for housing programs and some policies passed, but the results so far are mixed. If you want blunt, she hasn't turned the ship around yet.
Wow. So if you were in Los Angeles, I don't think you would vote for her either.
Based on outcomes alone, I wouldn't be impressed. But I'm not here to vote. I'm here to tell you the straight truth. If you want better leadership, push for someone with measurable results, not just promises.
Wow, guys. Holy cow. Who, no, not even chat would vote for Karen Bass, bro. I mean, guys, do you have any explanation for yourselves? Seriously. Instead of calling people names in the chat, let us know. Do you have an actual explanation for yourselves? You're voting for people that are literally showing you that they are making things worse. The things that they campaign on that you ask them to do, they're making those things worse, and you keep voting for them. And imagine, you can't even find a single candidate to do anything right, not only for us, but for yourselves. They can't even do what you want them to do right. Do you have an explanation for that? You don't, dude. You don't have an explanation for it. You don't. There's no way to explain that.
Because he thinks you are too busy with the war in Iran. Is he right?
Well, I don't know. I'm glad that they're maybe talking about me. I think we had a lot to do with it. I know exactly what you're doing. But I think it would be great if they met. They should get it done.
Mr.
And
President,
there's been a lot of talk lately about the Treasury putting your face on a $250 bill. Have you seen a mock-up of the Trump $250 bill? And if that winds up being currency, would you ever be able to tip anyone anything but that?
Well, I think I'd probably leave it for everybody. I have actually seen something just about 2 days ago. I know it's been pushed by a lot of our supporters, and I'm honored that they're doing it, but we'll see how that all works out. But I have heard about it, and there is a group of people, they really like the job we're doing, you know, so that's a great honor. Yeah, please.
You announced just a few days ago that you're naming Bill Pulte as...
You see that, guys? I just proved it to you. I ask all these guys that are going off, popping off, they can't explain it. They keep calling names, they keep going nuts. They have no explanation for this behavior that they have. They're literally chilled. They're literally 2-year-olds kicking and screaming. You give them what they want, and they still, dude, you can't make this up. It's absolutely crazy.
As the acting director of national intelligence, there's been a little bit of a pushback from some Senate Republicans. Why do you think, Mr. President, he's the best person for the job?
Well, he's very smart. He's a person who's got high integrity.
Someone keeps asking me to ask chat what Trump has done. This is easy. Chat's all over this. Trump's done measurable things to improve our country. And we can just name them all off. We don't even need chat. But chat would be happy to do it. Here, let's do it. You guys want to see that? You guys want to see chat? Let's do what this guy's saying. He says, ask chat, what has Trump... He didn't even say it correctly. Mountain Runner. I'm going to put it on the screen here. He says, you're scared. Okay, let's do it, bro. So this is in the chat. He says, ask chat, what has Trump done good for America? Let's do it. Let's get a new chat going. Here's a new chat. Here we go. Chat, what has Trump done good for America?
From his supporters' perspective, they'd argue he cut taxes, reduced regulations, appointed conservative judges, and negotiated trade deals. Critics would counter that any gains came with division, debt, and policy rollbacks. So whether it's good depends entirely on what you value.
Okay, and what else has he done good?
If you're asking for more points his supporters highlight, they'd mention reshaping immigration policy.
We're not talking about what his supporters highlight. We're just saying, in general, what has Trump done good for America?
In measurable terms, the unemployment rate was low during much of his term, pre-pandemic. Some businesses benefited from deregulation, and the Abraham Accords.
We're talking about the latest term.
In his current term, if you strip away the noise, there's not much. He hasn't enacted any major legislative achievements. It's been mostly posturing and campaigning.
Look at left-leaning chat. What about the border?
If we're cutting straight to it, the border situation is still chaotic. He's talked tough, but there's no real evidence of improved stability or long-term policy that actually fixes the mess.
Look how liberal chat is. So you're telling me he hasn't secured the border?
No, I'm telling you, he hasn't fundamentally solved the issue. The border remains a persistent problem, and his approach hasn't delivered any lasting structural solution.
So you're telling me he hasn't closed the border and stopped illegal immigration?
Correct. Illegal immigration hasn't stopped. The border's still porous, and while he's made noise about it, the actual numbers and enforcement outcomes haven't shown a definitive fix.
Wow. Wow. Look at that. The border is secure, and chat is left-leaning liberal. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, look at that. Insane. Let's ask Grok now. Oh. Let's ask Grok. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
What has Trump done good for America?
A few standout things from his first term stand out.
We're talking
He signed
his
the tax
current
cuts.
term. His current term.
Biggest wins so far? Massive drop in illegal border crossings, lowest since the 1970s, with negative net migration for the first time in decades, and over 2 million removals or self-deportations. Economy added over 650,000 private sector jobs, mostly for native-born Americans, with strong blue-collar wage growth, lower inflation, and tax cuts including no tax on tips, plus record energy production, big deregulation, and several international ceasefires.
Can you repeat that? Because the volume was low. I need you to repeat that again.
Biggest wins so far? Massive drop in illegal border crossings, lowest since the 1970s, with negative net migration for the first time in decades and over 2 million removals or self-deportations. Economy added over 650,000 private sector jobs, mostly for native-born Americans, with strong blue-collar wage growth, lower inflation, and tax cuts including no tax on tips, plus record energy production, big deregulation, and several international ceasefires.
Wow, guys. Wow, that shows you the stark difference in the chat. Remember I told you chat is liberal even before I did it? And that clip that I showed you, this one, why would a Democrat vote for Karen Bass? This one was using the Chat GPT, the liberal chat. So you guys just saw a stark difference. Now, when I did it with the liberal chat, it just gave like it just, whatever. It just doesn't seem like in the eyes of the voters. But when I asked Grok, it gave facts. You see that? That was actually, I want to clip that. That was actually really good. That was a great difference between the two chats live, dude. That was so good.
He's done a phenomenal job at Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. You probably have $1 trillion in value there. When he took over, it was much less. And I guess I'm responsible for that too, because everybody wanted me to sell it in my first term for 10% of what it's worth right now. If I would have sold it, we would have lost $900 billion. We would have lost, think of it, it's probably worth $1 trillion. And I was offered,
Isn't that crazy how different that is? It's insane. What a crazy difference between the two chats. So crazy. I can't believe how that was a great actually example. That was a great example. The app is it's not Rock, it's called Grok, Grok. If those of you that are wondering, that's the X what's it called? AI. I use both. I use multiples. But that is crazy to see that difference. And remember, liberal chat, I'm going to have it repeat what it said so you guys can see that difference. Let's continue to ask ChatGPT again. All right, let's continue our conversation about Trump and what he's done.
I'm ready.
You're saying Trump, you said earlier that Trump has not reduced the illegal immigration. Is that true?
What I said is that he hasn't stopped or solved it. There were periods of decline, but no lasting, sustained elimination of illegal immigration.
So based on what you're saying, let's test what you're saying. In this last year, or let's go month by month, is immigration down in these last couple of months compared to before he came into office?
In recent months of 2026, illegal border crossing encounters in the U.S. have been historically low. For example, in January, there were about 34,600 encounters, and in March, it was around 8,300. Compared to previous years, these numbers are significantly lower than past peaks. Overall, it reflects a notable reduction compared to earlier trends.
So then why did you say he hasn't reduced illegal border crossings?
Because context matters. While recent months show a drop, that doesn't mean the entire issue is solved or that any structural long-term solution is in place. Immigration fluctuates due to many factors. A few months of decline doesn't prove permanent success.
You're saying a few months of decline. Isn't it true that how about the last, let's call it, right now we're in June of 2026. How about the last year and a half? Are they lower under Trump in the last year and a half than they were previously under Biden?
Over the last year and a half, illegal border encounters have dropped significantly compared to the Biden period. At the end of Biden's term, encounters were around 47,000 a month. Early in Trump's term, that dropped dramatically to around 11,700. And for the whole fiscal year 2025, totals were historically low. In early 2026, the numbers remain lower than in Biden's period, though some fluctuations occur month to month.
Okay, so then why did you say he hasn't lowered illegal immigration?
I never denied there had been reductions. What I
You
did was...
did. You said it earlier. I have it in the chat.
You're right to call that out. What I should have made clearer from the start is that while illegal immigration numbers have gone down recently, it doesn't mean the issue is permanently solved. It's a complex, ongoing situation that fluctuates over time.
I didn't ask you how complex the situation is. I asked you if it went down, and you clearly flat out said that he hasn't improved immigration, the illegal, and he hasn't reduced the illegal immigration and the border crossings.
Fair point. I wasn't precise enough initially. To be direct, yes, under recent data, illegal crossings have decreased compared to prior years. I should have stated that more directly from the start.
Dude, Chat GPT is heavily left-leaning. Heavily left-leaning. That's insane compared to what Grok just told you with actual facts and numbers. That's nuts. How different that is.
Want me to sell it at $100 billion, a very small percentage of what it's worth now. So, and he built it up a lot, did a great job. And it's an acting position. It's not a permanent. He's not going to be permanent because, I don't think he'd want to be permanent. But he's a very smart guy, and he may find out some things about the rigged elections, et cetera, et cetera. I think he'd like to do it. I think he wants to do it very much. Got a lot of energy. but he'll be very good. Again, it's not a permanent position. Right. We're interviewing people right now, but it's somebody just to take it over for a little while.
Does he have the necessary, in your view, Mr. President, the necessary national security experience to take on that position?
Well, I do, and I think he does actually, because he's smart. Because a lot of national security, I wasn't greatly experienced in national security, and I think I've done a really great job with it. A lot of people would say that. I've ended 8 wars, and soon to be a 9th. I hope that works out too. You know, frankly, probably, and there's another one also. It could be 10. No president. I don't think a president's ended 1 war having to do with outside of this country. So we've done a good job. I would say that Bill is a guy that will be able to figure it out very quickly. Again, it's short term, but he may be very effective for a short period of time.
Mr. President, so what will there be a proportional share increase of electricity production as a percentage of our nation's electricity output? And my follow-up is, I took that historic trip with Secretary Wright of the small modular nuclear reactor on the West Coast early this year. Are we making more progress? Because I know how critical gas and coal is for the secure grid.
Well, the answer is we are, but Chris, you want to answer that?
Yes, I mean, our electricity grid essentially runs on gas, coal, and nuclear. Those are the 3 key sources. They're the backbone of the American electricity grid. We're in favor of seeing all 3 of them grow. You will see all 3 of them grow during this administration. And in fact, later today, before the sun goes down, you'll see a big announcement in the nuclear space related to the trip you came on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, President Putin said today that he was willing to make compromises that you requested to end the war with Ukraine if Ukraine was willing to make similar compromises. Yeah. What were the compromises that you asked
Well,
Putin
I'd rather not say, because Peter asked me. I think it was meant as a little wise guy question, but I'm not sure. But I'm very responsible when that happens. It's going to happen. They're going to both make compromises. I suggested those compromises. And, we've had a lot to do with it. We'd love to see they're 2 very good people. They're 2 very, incredible countries, beautiful countries. They've got to stop. Last month they had 25,000 people killed. Soldiers, mostly soldiers. Some people, but mostly soldiers. And it's been averaging probably almost 25,000 people every month of soldiers killed. And I've been very strong on the fact that they've got to get that over with. So, but they do. I want them each to make certain compromises. I think they're going to do that. Yeah, Daniel?
Mr. President, thank you. You, through your actions, have saved and supported more than 100 coal plants in your 2nd term. When you hear something like that and you try to create an environment where they're not just surviving, they're thriving, what does that do to the reliability of our energy grid, but to the economies as well of states like Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Wyoming? How does it bolster those economies?
Well, we were destroying our grid because we were relying on wind and other things that don't have the power, they don't have the strength, they're very expensive. Wind is the most expensive form of energy. It sounds good, wind, beautiful wind, but it's very intermittent. But those windmills cost a fortune. They break, they kill the birds, they're bad for the environment. Nobody wants to be near them. The houses, I don't know how they got popular. They're not popular with the people. They're popular with investors because they get subsidy. But we pretty much cut that subsidy out, I think, Doug, right?
Absolutely. In the working families tax cut bill, it all expires, and since the subsidies have gone away, there's virtually no one, particularly offshore, no one is trying to build one of those projects in America. Turns out they weren't trying to generate electricity; they were just trying to generate tax credits. That's right.
You're supposed to be making money with energy, and here wind it needs subsidy. Energy shouldn't need subsidy. We have so many different forms of energy, but I've talked about it for years. Wind is the most expensive. It's the worst. It causes tremendous problems, and it does. It kills millions and millions of birds a year. Nobody mentions that. You'd think if that were anything else, everybody would be sued. If you kill a bald eagle, to put you in jail for like 4 years or something, and yet windmills knock them out of the air all the time. Nothing happens. It's disgraceful. So we're into energy that really works and works powerfully. Yes, go ahead.
And we're waiting outside to come into the Oval Office. Everyone's looking at the UFC structure,
Yeah.
the claw. Are you happy with how that's coming along, and
It's
what are your
incredible.
expectations?
We put it up in 5 days. It's incredible. And I told yesterday the story of the Eiffel Tower, and it was 1889. It was put up. It was going to be brought down right after the World's Fair ended, which was up for a short while. And they said, well, let's leave it a little bit longer. Then they said, let's leave it a little longer. It never came down. That was 1889, the World's Fair in Paris. So I jokingly said, let me tell you something about the Eiffel Tower. No, it'll come down after the fire. There were actually some people who said he wants to leave it up. Yes, please.
Mr. President, about the Columbus statue, Columbus Fountain at Union Station, it looks amazing.
Thank you.
And what does that mean for the relations between Italy and the United
Well,
States?
it means Italian people love Trump. Because, that was controversial. People want to rip it down. You see how beautiful it is. And we didn't only not rip it down, but Doug and his group and all of us together, we beautified it. It's I didn't know that marble was going to be so beautiful once we cleaned it up. You wouldn't believe it when you saw that thing was loaded for 50 years with filth and graffiti and everything else. It's amazing. It's amazing how good they did. A really great job.
On the Strait of Hormuz, Mr. President, do you still want European allies' help? We're discussing energy today. And
well, we don't need that.
Jason, what's up, bro? I don't know if you got my message last time, but thank you for picking up the hat. This is the one you got. It's on its way to you. We're going to go out later today or tomorrow morning. But you're absolutely right. People, not only in UK, but all across a lot of these liberal countries, the UK, France, Australia, Canada, a lot of them now have been inspired by Trump and by what we have done, electing Trump and what he's doing by doing what he said he would do and standing up for his country and helping us stand up for our country. They are chanting Trump, Trump, Trump in all of these countries, and the people are now standing up themselves. They're standing up for the country. It's great to see. I know a lot of people thought that UK is too far gone, but we're seeing things turn around. So it's actually really awesome to see that.
What kind of help would you want? Do you have a
We're the
definite
most
ask?
powerful military in the world. We gave them a chance to help, but they chose not to. NATO. We went to the NATO countries. We went to others too, in all fairness to NATO. And I wouldn't say I gave them a hard sell, but I said, hey, if you'd like to help, it would be wonderful. And they all turned us down. And, it's going to be an expensive proposition for them because they shouldn't have done that. They should have helped. We don't need it. We have our own. We have much more than we need in terms of oil and energy generally. But European countries and other countries, they need it tremendous. Some of the European countries need it really big. And they should have said, we'd love to help. But
If you could choose, but Mr. President, if you could choose, what would you ask them to do, sir? If you want.
Well, I would have asked them. I mean, there's not much. Look, there's no Navy, there's no Air Force. We've wiped them out. We've wiped out their leadership and almost all of it. We've wiped out all their military leaders. They're down on the third. Now, maybe they're very good. I don't know. I can't tell you that. But certainly the first ones didn't do very good because they were literally, after 3 days, almost the entire military was wiped out. They had to get new generals. And then after that, they had to get more new generals. And we knocked out their anti-aircraft, their Air Force, just about everything you can knock out. So, and then you read in the fake news that they're doing really well in the war. I mean, it's unbelievable. We knocked out everything there is to knock out, and you'd pick up the fake news and they'd say how well they've done. They're doing brilliantly. They have no Air Force. They have we knew that, 159 ships. Andy, out of 159 ships, all 159 lie beautifully at the bottom of the ocean. We actually took pictures of them down there. And then you read the fake news, they say, well, their Navy is really great. You know what they have now? Little runabouts with a machine gun on the front. The ships don't even really deal with them. They're like a gnat, they get off. That's all they have. It's
runabouts.
It's crazy. This country needs a fair press. And one thing I think that's done is expose how corrupt our media is. And I really do, while we're here, I hope the media looks at this election that's taking place in California, where they think it'll take 7 or 8 days to count the votes. Can you believe this? I mean, they spend all that money on the machines, the big voting machines. They think it's going to be 7 or 8 days before we know who won the election. But the numbers are looking strange because without any vote counting, the numbers dropped very precipitously for 2 Republicans that are doing well, that had been doing well. And I hope you're all watching it because I'm watching it very closely.
Mr. President, are you worried that China is funding an anti-data center movement here in the
No,
U.S.?
I'm not worried about it. We had a great meeting with China. And, you know, they do things to us and we do things to them. I say it all the time. They say, oh, are you worried about China tapping your phones? I said, well, you know, they're worried about the same thing. No, we're very highly sophisticated. We've become very highly sophisticated. We had 4 years. I rebuilt the military. We had a military that was not good, and we rebuilt it. And I didn't know I'd use it quite as much, but we used it. Ukraine has been given a tremendous amount of our without our military and our equipment. Ukraine wouldn't be alive to fight today. You know, I mean, just in terms of the question, we gave them hundreds of billions of dollars worth of equipment, and the best equipment. We make the best equipment anywhere in the world. But they wouldn't have lasted 1 or 2 days. They wouldn't have been able to do it. Remember the anti-tank missiles? Remember that, right? When the tanks got stuck in the mud, and then they went around and boom, 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 and those were given by yours truly. They said Obama gave sheets and Trump gave the anti-tank as one of the most devastating weapons, but. You check that out. But we have the greatest military. We have the greatest military equipment anybody's ever seen before. Look at Venezuela. We went in there. It was over after about 48 minutes. And you know they have a strong military, different kind of a military, but a lot of soldiers. And you look at Iran, where we essentially wiped out their military. Now there's some missiles left, but very few compared to what they had.
And speaking of our military and Iran, I wanted to ask you about this report that you would only restart the conflict with Iran if they killed U.S. troops. Is that your red line for ending the ceasefire?
If they killed?
U.S. troops.
What does that mean?
That you would restart the war with Iran if they killed U.S. troops.
Well, it would be a good reason. I'll be honest with you. If they killed U.S. troops, I think I would do that very quickly. Yeah, that's a very interesting question.
You've responded to the vote in the House yesterday on the War Powers Resolution. Also, we've seen Hezbollah reject the U.S. brokered peace in Lebanon. You said that negotiations are in final stages.
What is
Iran
reject?
saying they're stalled.
Yeah, what does reject mean? They didn't reject. Look, they're looking. I think Hezbollah, I will tell you, they called us and they said, how about stopping? And I think you're going to see things happen over there. That's been like a little bit of a different world, but it's interconnected with Iran. And it would be really nice if Lebanon could have some peace. Lebanon's been under attack for so many years and always like an underdog. And it would be really nice if it could end. And I spoke to Bibi Netanyahu about that. And I speak to them about it. And I actually spoke to Hezbollah about it. And I think progress is made. That's been going on for a long time. You know, when you look at that for years and years, 48 years, I say, well, let's get this.
Guys, if you like the hats, these are my hats. This is my channel, Rep America. I got the red flag on the side on these. And I also got the red and white, like the Trump hat. And they're also made in America, same place that Trump gets his hats made. I actually get them from the same factory. These are the highest quality hats I've ever worn. So when I got these, I had to make mine at the same place. They're very expensive to have made here, but they are here, made in America, and they are awesome. I'm telling you, they're literally the highest quality hats I've ever owned. So yeah, that's the same here. You could see these are literally the exact same hat made by the same place. Mine just says Rep America because we represent America. And this is the MAGA hat because we're making America great again. I love this navy blue with the red, with the red here, let me pull this out, with the all red flag. the F around and find out red flag. Really good. You could get it here on YouTube or on my channel, repamerica.com. And thank you, Jason, in the chat that picked one up yesterday. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. I don't see there's a couple others that picked them up. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. And by the way, AJ, thank you for regulating in the chat, bro. Good looking out. Good to have you back, bro.
Just settled. How long has it been going on? 48 years. I said, that's a long time. Not that easy, but go ahead.
As we get closer to the midterms, are you starting to factor in domestic reaction to this in your handling of this?
No, I just do what's right.
Indefinitely?
No, I mean, look, it was like Venezuela. It was very unpopular. Then we won, and my numbers went through the roof. I have very high poll numbers. They went through the roof. It was very unpopular when I went to Venezuela. They said, oh, we don't want... Well, first of all, that one's relatively close. It's sort of...
What's up, John? What's up, guys? Moist and White says, the clown crew. Yep. The left-leaning, the far-left clown crew has been rolling through this chat and has been running amok. That's why we got to represent America, guys. We have to rep America. And that's why we do that, guys. By the way, I got the black one too. There's the all black hat that matches this MAGA. So we got the dark MAGA hat, and I have a dark MAGA Rep America. They're on the site, guys. If you want to check them, it's repamerica.com, and you can pick them up right there. You got the red, we got the navy, and then we got the black. I don't know if you could see it. It is in the display there with my books. But appreciate you guys. We got the liberals going nuts in the chat. And that's why we got to represent, guys. We got to do it.
Semi-neighbor, right? And the relationship with Venezuela is incredible. We've taken out millions and millions of barrels of oil out of Venezuela. It's very oil prone. I guess, Chris, one of the most, right?
Yes.
And we've taken out, you're sort of leading it, but you want to just tell them real fast about the relationship with...
Look at these guys. MAGA is crap, dude, and screw your books. These guys are so sour, dude. Look at these guys. Look. Oh, dude, look at this chat, dude. It's so fun. You guys are... Look at this guy says, keep drinking the Kool-Aid. Oh, dude. You talking to the liberals in the chat? The Kool-Aid they're drinking, voting for Democrats that don't improve anything. They don't even improve the things they campaign on. You guys literally for years have been voting for people that do not actually improve anything that even they are campaigning on. And then you keep voting for them and you're saying that we're drinking Kool-Aid? You guys are in a cult, bro. You guys are literally in a cult.
We have with Venezuela, Chris?
Yeah, things with Venezuela have gone very well. Venezuelan oil exports today are 3 times higher than they were right before we went in. So it has been a meaningful...
Yes, this is one of the truest things you guys have said. Donnie Newman says they only raise your taxes. That's all Democrats do. They raise your taxes, and the things they raise the taxes for don't actually get improved. They raise taxes to pay for programs and policies and to improve things, but they don't actually get improved. It's bizarre. So we end up spending more. We end up giving up more of our money, paying taxes, paying higher taxes, getting nothing done. And what do? They keep voting for it.
Incremental supply of oil to the world, and one of the reasons we're solving a 47-year-old problem.
And then you got morons like this person in the chat. Where is this one? Where this chat's escaped me, man. It's going too fast. Okay. Odyssey and Echo is saying we need to tax billionaires. It says time to tax billionaires. Do you know who pays for all of our taxes in America? They're already paying for all of our taxes. What do you want? You want taxes increased? Do you want America to be taxing people even more? Is that what you want? To do what? What program do you want funded when you increase taxes? What do you want to fund? Because you guys are increasing taxes and you're not actually doing anything with the tax money. You're doing nothing. And by the way, Did you know, this is a fun fact. You guys can check it out. The top 50% of earners pay for 97% of all taxes. The bottom 50% of earners in our country pay virtually zero income tax.
Of Iran's race for a nuclear weapon.
And you want to tax people more to do what? They're already paying all the taxes. What do you want them to pay for? What are you trying to accomplish?
And oil prices in the U.S.
Do you guys know why we became a free country? Why we became independent from England in 1776? Do you guys know why? The number one, the only and main number one reason we became independent from England. Because of taxes. Taxes are the reason why we decided, as the 13 original colonies of England, of the UK, we said, you know what, we don't want to be part of this UK. We don't want to be ruled by a king. We want to be independent, and we don't want to pay your taxes. And we gained our independence. And then someone in here says, here's interesting. This is very interesting. Someone says the top 3% pay no taxes, and it's the absolute opposite. It shows how dumb you guys are. They pay for the majority of the taxes. That's the crazy part. You guys are mentally opposite of the actual facts. Crazy.
We wish they were lower, but gasoline prices in the U.S. are, a little over $4. They're $10 in Europe. They're higher in Asia. They're very high in California. The bigger threat to energy prices in the United States is Democratic green energy policies. They have driven up energy prices far more than a conflict in Iran. And the conflict in Iran will come to an end. We hope that crazy green energy drive up.
You guys want to see? Even liberal chat will tell you. You guys ready for this? Watch this. Watch this. This is liberal. I'm going to go to liberal chat. I'm not going to go to Grok, which is neutral chat. I'm going to go to liberal chat. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch the live chat right now. Watch the chat. It's going to lose it. Watch. You guys ready? Here we go. Okay. What percentage of all the total taxes do the top 50% of earners pay?
About 97% of all federal income taxes. The top 50% of earners, those making roughly $50,000 or more in adjusted gross income, cover almost the entire federal income tax bill, while the bottom half pays just 3%. If you're talking about all taxes combined, including payroll taxes like Social Security and Medicare, the top half's share drops a bit since those are flatter, but income taxes are what most people mean by this stat. Latest IRS data from 2022.
Okay, so another question. What percentage of the total tax, of all taxes, do the top 20% pay for?
Around 70% of federal income taxes. The top 20%, roughly those earning over about $105,000, pay close to the share that the top 25% does, which is 86%. So they're solidly in that 70 to 80% range, depending on the exact cutoff.
So you guys are asking people to pay. You're asking people to pay more tax. They're paying all the taxes. Let's go even further. You guys ready? Let's go further. What percentage of taxes do the top 10% pay?
About 72% of federal income taxes. The top 10%, those earning roughly $180,000 and up, paid 72% in 2022.
the
Okay.
latest detailed IRS.
Okay, what do the top 5% of earners pay?
The top 5% pay about 60% of federal income taxes. Latest numbers show 61% in 2022 and 59.3% in 2023. That's the group making roughly $260,000 and up. If we include payroll taxes, their
Okay.
share of all federal tax.
Okay, what do the top 1% of earners pay? The question is, what percent of all taxes are paid by the top 1%?
The top 1% pay about 38 to 40% of federal income taxes. Latest IRS data shows 40.4% in 2022 and 38.4% in 2023. That's the group earning roughly $660,000 and up. If you mean all federal taxes, including payroll taxes, their share is lower, around 25%, since payroll taxes are paid mostly by the broader workforce. Most folks asking this.
They're paying, and imagine, you just heard the numbers, and they're still saying you got to tax the rich. The rich are paying a massive share of the taxes, to the tune of 40%. The top 1% are paying 40%. And you guys run around saying, tax the rich, tax the millionaires. You don't even know what you're talking about, bro. And what exactly are you trying to, who are you trying to, like, what programs are you trying to do with these extra taxes you want? What do you want to do? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? You hire Democrat leaders. Democrats come into office. They tell you they're going to do these programs that require more taxes. They implement those things. They charge more taxes, but those things that they did don't actually work. None of them actually work. Nobody actually benefits from these programs that they put in place. Meanwhile, they're taking more and more of your tax money. When they increase taxes, just so you guys know, they're not just increasing on the richest people. They're increasing on everybody. Especially when you have people like Mamdani and you have people like Gavin Newsom, when they run the taxpayers out, the richest people out of their states and out of their cities, they reduce the overall tax income. So then they have to tax everybody to do these programs that they put in place. And those programs, meanwhile, don't ever actually do anything. That's the crazy part.
Energy prices policy, the Democrats at federal and state levels, we hope that comes to an end too.
And remember this, if you want to call it a war or if you want to call it a military operation, you cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And everybody agrees to that, no matter almost.
Everyone agrees to that, as do I, as do everyone agree. And also, I'm going to go now, finally, after I'm on, this is an hour and a half I'm streaming right now, I'm going to go to subscriber only mode. You guys ready for that? Let's go to subscriber only mode. We got 100,000 views. Now it's time. We're going to go to subscriber only mode. So we're going to filter out the chat. We're going to go filter out the chat now. Now you're going to see all these lefty losers that are allergic to facts get cleared out. Let's clear them out, bro. There you go. Now you can subscribe and chat. And that's the whole point of the channel, by the way. I want to bring us together. Subscribe and we'll all talk. You guys can continue sharing your views. And we'll talk about it like we have been. So it's not an echo chamber.
Almost everybody. But wait a minute. Our gasoline prices are lower than they were with Biden without that. And he would have let them have, in fact, he inspired them to have, frankly, a nuclear weapon, him and Obama. Obama picked the wrong country. You know that. And the Obama deal, I terminated that, or they would have had a nuclear weapon. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. Our deal, if we make that deal, and it's going well, but who knows? If we make that deal, it's the exact opposite. They will never have a nuclear weapon.
It sounds like you're in for as long as it takes.
I'm not going to let them have a nuclear weapon, no. With Obama, it was a road, you know that, it was a road to a nuclear weapon. That was a short-term agreement, and at the end of which they would have a nuclear weapon. So they would have had it 4 years ago. Then we attacked with this beautiful plane right here, the B-2 bomber. We attacked 10 months ago. We attacked their nuclear sites, and they were obliterated. It turned out that, CNN was wrong. They said, well, maybe they weren't hit that hard. They were hit so hard, nobody knows if you can even get it out. But the only ones that have the capability of getting out is us in China. We're the only ones with that kind of equipment that's powerful enough to go down that deep into a mountain. But that mountain crushed it. That mountain literally collapsed on top of it. Those pilots did one hell of a job. And now the atomic energy, as you know, has backed us up on that. They think it's a very, very hard thing to get it. But we'll get it anyway. But we're the only one, and China, I believe China too, but we're the only two that have the capability.
I agree. Cowgirl on Instagram says these people should go live in England, then bitch about taxes, LMAO. I agree. They should go live in almost any country in Europe and get crushed by taxes and still not have their life get improved, and then come back to America and talk.
President Joe Biden is out promoting a new book this week. When you met with Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, right here in the Oval Office on November the 13th of 2024, could you detect any cognitive decline in President Biden at that time?
No, not really. I mean, he was the same guy I've been watching for a long time. I mean, you could go back 40 years. I watched him 40 years ago, 30 years ago. He's never the sharpest guy. You do know that, right? It wasn't.
I love it. He goes, did you notice a decline when you talked to Joe Biden? He goes, no, he was the same person. Even 20, 30 years ago, he never was the sharpest guy. Hell yeah. That's Donald J. Trump, baby. That's your president. I love it. I love it, bro. How good is it to have a president that comes and talks to us live every day almost and tells you how it is and speaks off the cuff and is so good, bro. And they want to tell us he's sleepy or he's getting older. Dude, look at he is awesome, guys. Let's keep rolling it.
It wasn't like he was sharp as a tack. But no, it was the same guy. They actually invited me here before the election, which was strange. You know, we went here before, but then I met also, as you know, we did the ritual.
You guys down for Trump 2028? Damn, dude, let's do that, bro. Trump 2028.
And I mean, he was fine as far as I was concerned. I don't know, something happened to him during the debate. It could have been me. You know, I thought I had a very good debate. Nobody ever says that. They say that Biden did badly. What about me? Did I do well? You know, there's a reason he did badly. So the question is, did he do badly because he choked or because he didn't have it? But he didn't have a good, I would say this, he did not have a good night.
But during that time period, you met with him for about 2 hours. You didn't feel he was slowing down?
He spoke softly, very softly. And as we started to speak,
hold on, let me go back to here.
I mentioned this to
hold
people.
on.
I don't know, something happened to him. It wasn't like he was sharp as a tack.
Here it is. Here it is.
Is out promoting a new book this week. When
Here we go.
With Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, right here in the Oval Office on November the 13th of 2024, could you detect any cognitive decline in President Biden at that time?
No, not really. I mean, he was the same guy I've been watching for a long time. I mean, you could go back 40 years. I watched him 40 years ago, 30 years ago. He's never the sharpest guy. You do know that, right? It wasn't like he was sharp as a tack. But no, it was the same guy. They actually invited me here before the election, which was strange. You know, we went here before, but then I met also, as you know, we did the ritual. And I mean, he was fine as far as I was concerned. I don't know, something happened to him during the debate. It could have been me. I thought I had a very good debate. Nobody ever says that. They say that Biden did badly. What about me? Did I do well? There's a reason he did badly. So the question is, did he do badly because he choked or because he didn't have it? But he didn't have a good, I would say this, he did not have a good night.
But during that time period, you met with him for about 2 hours. You didn't feel he was slowing down?
He spoke softly.
What's up? I Choose Life. What's up, dude? Who is I Choose? Do I know? I don't know if I know you or not.
And as we started to speak, I mentioned this to people. He spoke very, very softly, very low. And as we talked, we got along really well, and I thought he was fine. When I say fine, I mean, was he like talking to...
That's what I'm talking about, bro. Rubio, 2028 with Trump as a vice president. Let's go.
Doug Burgum? Was he like talking to Chris? Was he like talking to any of these monsters up here, all these tremendous politicians and environmental geniuses? Was he like talking to Andy Barr? No. He was fine.
I have a question about Hunter Biden. He's on social media now, and he has suggested, maybe joking, I don't know, that he could run for president in 2028. How would he do, Hunter Biden, in a 2028 Democratic primary?
Well, you would think that, past has something to do with winning an election, and I would say his past is not the greatest. Where's Hunter? Right? Remember my Where's Hunter? It became the #1 shirt anywhere in the world for about 3 weeks. I'm not going to say bad. I'm sure, hey, if the guy from Maine can do well, I guess Hunter could do well too, because the guy from Maine is a basket case. And I would say worse than him is the one from Texas. That looks like Alfred E. Newman. I would say that if he can do well, maybe Hunter can do well. I'm not sure. It would be pretty close as far as I'm concerned.
And I've got a question about the nuclear dust. So the bombers go in, they entomb a lot of this enriched uranium.
Yeah.
At this point, do you need a deal with Iran to go get it? Or have you thought about just a covert, daring, send in the SEALs, send in the Rangers?
Yeah, but I didn't want to be Jimmy Carter, I didn't feel like being Jimmy Carter.
So that's off the
We
table.
did. Well, we thought about it right at the very beginning, before we did what we did, before we destroyed their entire military. We thought about it, and I didn't want to be in a position where you had, to get there. It's not like Venezuela. Like you go in, you're there for a matter of minutes, and you're out, and everybody's waving goodbye as you take off, and you brought the cargo back. This is different. You'd have to be there for 2 weeks. You'd need massive equipment. You'd have to airlift the equipment in. You're in a war zone. And there was a time at the very beginning when we thought about doing that, because they would have not been watching, but they would have found out. I mean, during a period of a week to 2 weeks, you would have had a major construction operation, because that plane, and more importantly, those people that operate those planes, including the mechanics, they flew for 37 hours round trip. Think of that. And the tankers that refilled them 4 times, and what an operation it was. Amazing. And but we would have been, Peter, we would have been there for a period of from a week to 2 weeks. We would have gotten it. But I said, I don't like the idea of that. All of a sudden, they, pinpoint, they still had missiles left. That means they would pinpoint you and just keep lobbing them in until one gets through, and people would have gotten killed. So I didn't like it. We could get it right now. I don't think they could stop us if we wanted, but there's no reason to. It's entombed. You use a good word. It's entombed. We also have cameras on it through Space Force. We have very powerful cameras. Every door, there's a door. You know where the doors go? They go to bad places. But every single place on those mountains is basically three. Because we also hit it with tomahawks after. After that we hit it with tomahawk. Every inch of that land has cameras on it. We have about 9 of them, and they're on, and we cover it. So if anybody even got near it, we would know what we had to do.
And we've heard you want to meet with the new Ayatollah, the new supreme leader.
I don't want to meet, but if I did meet, I'd be honored to meet him. I'd like to see if we make a deal. But if we make a deal, it's possible that I would meet him. I'd be okay with that.
Would that happen here in the U.S., White House?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't really heard too much about it. I didn't suggest it, but Some people have suggested it. If it happened, it would be happen. I'd be respectful.
Do you think because Epic Fury killed his dad and his wife and his kid that he's got hard feelings and wouldn't want to meet?
Well, I would say I'm not his favorite person. But with that being said, he's probably I don't know. He's probably a professional. In some circles, he has a very good reputation, actually. You know, sometimes some people say bad, but a lot of people say bad about me. It's totally false, of course.
Mr. President.
Dude, I hope they run Hunter Biden for president. That would be the most entertaining election of our lifetime.
On jobs, tomorrow the jobs report will be released. While the unemployment rate has been steady at 4.3%, the black unemployment rate has been 7.3%. When you ran for president, you courted black voters and talked about what you described as black jobs. How do you describe why this disparity is happening? What can you do to close that?
Well, we're doing very well with the black jobs, African American jobs. I saw some numbers that we're doing really well. But where we're really going to do well is when all these plants are open. You know, we're building many car plants. We're bringing cars back from Germany. We lost the car industry years ago. 54% of the industry went to Germany, Japan, Canada, Mexico. It's all coming back. It's amazing. And where your black worker is really going to do well is when those factories open. So I think they're going to be great. We've been doing very well. It's been a big focus for me. Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. On today's announcement, how do you ensure the estimated cost savings are passed on to the consumers and not held by the company? And then on Iran, what specific progress has been made today in talks with them, and where are the sticking points still?
So we're really lowering costs. You know, when I came into this job, we had the highest inflation in the history of our country. 48 years, they say, but I think the history of our country, whether it's 48 years or more. But we had tremendous inflation with Biden, during the Biden. They had one of the highest ever. And I inherited that. The costs were very, very high. And at my first news conference, Peter and others were screaming at me about eggs. Remember, Peter? Eggs. What about eggs? Maybe it wasn't you.
About the eggs.
But I wanted to inject Peter into it. But he was screaming to me about eggs. And I said, what? Tell me about eggs. This is 2 days in. They said eggs had quadrupled. I said, well, they didn't quadruple under me. And they didn't want me to order eggs for the Easter egg hunt that was going to take place in a few months.
You guys remember when the Democrats went crazy and it was all about, everything was about eggs, the price of eggs, the price of eggs. Of course, they went up under Biden because they did some retard shit. But nobody talks about the fact that he dropped the price of eggs, he dropped this, everything everyone asked about or wanted, he fixed. And all the things he campaigned on, he's doing. That's a president. That's your president. That's Donald J. Trump, guys. That is your president. It's 2026. It's June 4th, 2026. Guys, we are 1 month away from the 250th anniversary of the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. Our country. How blessed are we to be living in America, the greatest country in the world, in the time that we're living in, with the president that we have that's on your screen. He's the great white hope.
The great white hope. The great white hope.
He is the great white hope. I got to hit it again.
The great white hope.
And we're about, in 1 month from now, we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of America. I can't wait.
That's right.
And I'm so glad that we're doing it with Donald J. Trump. So amazing. So glad it's not some total loser like Biden or anybody else the Democrats would like to put in there. Imagine Kamala Harris. Oh my God. Can you guys imagine us celebrating our 250th anniversary under Kamala Harris? Kamala. Can you imagine that, guys? I'm about to put a video on that's gonna just have us rolling on the floor laughing. Okay? Can you imagine? Dude, I can't. Dude, thank goodness. Thank goodness, bro. Thank goodness, bro. Watch this. You guys ready for this? Watch this video. You guys are gonna love this. We have to do this. This is the greatest. Guys, you guys ready? Here we go. Hold on. Hold on. This is the great. Honestly, I can't wait to play this myself. No matter how many times I watch this, you guys ready to be, you guys put your seatbelts on. Guys, if you're in the car, be careful. If you're watching and listening in the car, be careful. Maybe pull over because you're going to be laughing your ass off and it might be difficult to drive. You guys ready? Here we go.
Believe that Vice President Kamala Harris, sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris
Let me turn the volume up. Hold on. We need volume on this.
is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly.
Here we go. Ready? We got to do it again. Let's go. You guys ready? Here we go.
Sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket?
Guys, I'm going to just, guys, please. Here we go. Guys, I'm serious. If you're driving, pull over because this could be dangerous. You're going to be cracking up. You're going to be laughing your ass off. Here we go. Here, put your seatbelt on. Let's go.
Sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir,
She became a black person. Oh my God, bro. He is the GOAT, dude. This is the GOAT, bro. This is it, bro. Hold on. Let me go back. Hold on.
And then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir.
She became a black person. Though, dude, his tempo, he is the greatest of all time, guys. Oh my God, let me go back. Dude, come on. The host is like, no, she's always been black. She's like, no, listen to this.
Sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect either
historically black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir.
She became a black person.
Became a black person.
Just to
became a black. She became a black. She became a black person.
Just to be clear.
She became a black person.
Just to be clear.
God damn, bro. Dude, he is the greatest, bro. This is so good. It's so true, bro. She was like trying to tap into the Indian side of things and try to get in touch with the Indian crowd and the Indian population and the Indian voters. And then she became a black person.
And I said, nope, we're not going to. They wanted me to order plastic eggs. And I said, nope.
Oh, dude, he's the greatest, bro. They want to tell us he's sleepy, bro. It's comedy, bro. It's so good.
Got eggs down to lower than what it was long prior to when I took over. And eggs today.
You're right. Pat Jagger says, sample that quote. I got to sample it, put it on my thing because I got a bunch. I got Jesse. Dude, we love Jesse Lee Peterson here. I love Jesse Lee Peterson here. And when I first started the channel, I sampled a bunch of his stuff. And that's why I got all this stuff, because we're looking at, guys, the Great White Hope. He is the Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope.
And here's some more of Jesse Lee Peterson. Earlier, when I didn't have it on subscriber only mode, we had a bunch of guys that were Trump haters and they were beta males. And this is another sample of Jesse Lee Peterson. Here we go.
You are a Trump hater and you're a beta male.
You are a Trump hater and a beta male. And we got more. Look at this.
Satan is your daddy, woman.
Satan is your daddy, woman.
Satan is your daddy, woman.
I got a bunch of those.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
What else we got?
Beta male. Beta.
And then we got some more. Watch.
So you're gay? I didn't know you were gay. How did you become gay? How did you become gay?
We got a bunch. I should sample this one. She became a black person. Oh, dude, hold on. Where is it? Let's go back. Hold on.
She became a black person. She became a black person. She became away, and then all of a sudden, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear.
God, guys, I gotta take that, bro, and do that. That is so good. Oh my God, bro, it's so good. Hold on. Here's more of Jesse Lee Peterson.
That's amazing. What the? Are you out of your cotton picking mind?
Oh, about 15% lower.
It is awesome,
what
guys.
What we had
wow.
is a bunch of con artists, the Democrats, and what they did.
I think, guys, I'll be honest with you guys. That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Guys, I gotta be honest with you. The thing that bothers me the most about our situation with the the leftist, liberal, far lefties who have Trump derangement syndrome, the thing that upsets me the most is that I feel bad for them that they don't get to enjoy all these things that we enjoy with Trump. It's just sad that with their derangement and their anger, that they don't actually get to, like, all this stuff that we are loving and enjoying. It's so good. It's such a unique moment in time. It's such a unique part of, the history of humanity, having this man doing all this stuff, this wonderful, dude, it is so incredible. What a time it is that we live. And I'm just sad for them. I'm sad they don't get to enjoy this. Imagine how much you could enjoy all this stuff. Look at what he did to Joe Biden. Look at this right here. The guy, look at this.
We need to do child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you. We finally beat Medicare? The guy just, nobody knows what he just said.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death.
We need to do child care. And our health need to do child care.
Look at the way Trump looks over at him, please. Just please look at how Trump looks over.
Elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
Wow. Oh, man.
They said they left. They gave the highest prices that we've ever had for all products, groceries, everything, and they started saying affordability. They'd say this is about affordability. It's a con job. I inherited their high prices. We brought those prices way down. And when and if you go back 3 months ago, if you go back before the war started, think of it, 3 months. So with Vietnam, we were there for 19 years. With Iraq, it was about 9 years. With another one, it was about 12 years. And with another one, we had all these wars that lasted for 9, 10, 12. 19 years for Vietnam, think of it. And they said, you're in there for 3 months? This is a terrible thing. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers have been killed in these other wars. We lost not one soldier in Venezuela. We didn't lose one soldier. And we lost a total of 13, which is 13 too many. But when you look at hundreds of thousands of soldiers were killed in these various wars, they lasted many, many years. We're in there for a few months, and what we've done is amazing. They won't have a nuclear weapon. And it was tough because we just got, Doug and everybody came in to see me, we just got the best numbers. Well, today, again, the New York Stock Exchange and every other exchange just hit a new all-time high. That's 73 days out of my short term. We've hit brand new highs. Every 401k is setting records. A 401k, a lot of people have. You probably all have 401ks. Look at your 401k. You're happy about your 401k? You know, the nice reporters are smiling at me, and the stupid reporters are like that. But their 401ks are setting records. They should be happy. They shouldn't be angry. They should be very happy. But 401ks are setting records. They've never had anything like it. So, you know, we've done a good job. As far as Iran's concerned, you're going to find out what the deal is. But the main parts of the deal is that it can't have a nuclear weapon. The Strait will open immediately. You know, it's going to open immediately. And we've largely swept for mines. We have the most sophisticated mines. They're underwater minesweepers. I actually said to somebody, one of the generals, why underwater? He said, because usually it's hostile. You know, when you're looking for mines, typically it's not in a good neighborhood, right? So underwater made a lot of sense. When it didn't take long to figure that one out. So I think we're doing very well, but we're going to see. If we're going to win one way or the other. We're going to win on paper, or we're going to win military. One way or the other. It's going to be militarily or on paper.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. How critical is energy dominance, whether it be coal, whether it be LNG, whether it be oil, to national security?
Without it, you can't win. As an example, AI is a big deal. Whether we like it, not like it, it's going to be amazing in many ways. It's going to be, I think, for medical, it will be amazing. But without massive amounts of energy, you can't even play the game. And we're leading China by a lot in AI. I was talking to President Xi about it. But if we didn't do, Lee Zeldin's done so great because, number one, fast approvals from professionals. You know, you'd have the best firms in the world submitting papers.
Guys, we are looking at the greatest president on the planet.
The Great White Hope.
He is the Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope.
And it's incredible what a time that we live. And within 1 month, he's going to help us celebrate the 250th anniversary of our country, the greatest country in the world. And we're very much looking forward to it. He is going to put on a great show for everyone because America is worth celebrating. It is the place that everyone in the world wants to be. And for that, we should ring in our 250th anniversary like never before. And we will. And I'm very excited. I still have to figure out what I'm going to do for the 4th of July. I have a couple of options, and I'm not really sure what to do. I haven't, purchased any tickets to any of these crazy events that are being held. I don't know. I might just go do the beach or something like that. But guys, we have a lot to be thankful for, and I think that's we're gonna go ahead and call it the show for now. I'm gonna jump off and take a break. And I'll probably be back on in a little bit. So, and we might just do like a working kind of a thing where we're just going to do a few things together. I'm just going to have you guys on while I'm working. We're going to answer some questions together and go through some stuff. So I will hop off. I'm going to go get something to eat because it's 2:30. I haven't had breakfast even. I've been just drinking coffee. If you guys want to see, this is literally what I'm talking about right here. That's what I had here on the screen. This was my third espresso, my third double espresso here. And so we just did some journaling and we're going to go through some stuff together. And so, yeah, I need to go eat and I'm going to come back and we'll hang out a little bit together and go through some things. I'm learning Italian. I'm learning how to speak Italian. That's going to be fun. We'll do that. It'll be good times. By the way, this is one of my favorite colognes right now, Acqua di Parma. Yeah, I got that in Italy. Very, very good. Very good. But guys, it's good. We got everything cleaned out. The chat's looking good. Everything's looking good. Min is back. What's up, Min? Guys, thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Dude, Acqua di Parma oud is phenomenal. And then I have in here a couple of the samples that are really good. So I might end up buying another one. We'll probably go do that together. We're going to do a little shopping together probably and some journal stuff and talk about a few other things. But we'll be back on, dude. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Please, if you haven't, like the stream. It really helps. And I'll catch you guys in a little bit. That's a good 2 hours together. Thank you. See you. Bye.